All right, y'all, let's get into the 100-day election count, the Israel war count, the Last Supper that was shown on the Olympics, and the New Covenant, and those types of things. Probably have some rabbit trails on here. Will probably be a two-parter, and hopefully will blow the minds a little bit because we are living through that blockbuster rewind. And the first part came out in the so-called 85, which was 2020, and then now we're in that 89, which is that filming, edit, and release, and then the 90 comes in the 2025, and the 90 is also being filmed and edited at the same time before the release of the part 2. And the perfect trilogy that we're doing is the one where the so-called Biff Tannen, the bi FF. So Biden ties a role into this as a mirror and a smokescreen, but the smokescreen is for that backstage and that second stage setting and all those, and the backstage of the dawn is before you. But that Biff Tannen is based on Trump, according to the writers and producers and such. So the 85, 89, 90 is connected to the King Spirit, who is Elvis if he was alive, and he is 47 years dead on 8/16 this month on 2024. So that's 46 with the Biden, the 47 with the next presidency, and all those other things are connecting in a little matrix here and a timestamp and those things. So let's connect some things. I got my notes here to keep me on track, okay? The Israel war started on 10/7, okay? So let's start there because 10 months and 7 days is coming up on the Israel war, and that is on 8/12/24. Now 1/28, okay? The 8/12 and the 1/28, but the 1/28/2020 is the Israel peace deal with Trump, okay? Now, that's day 311 from the war. Now, day 311 connects us back to March 11th, the 3/11th of 2020, when the bad omen declared the pandemic, okay? And that pandemic, the dem for the democracy, and the Dem for the Democrat, and the mic for the custom mic speaker for that custom amp for Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, and also Mike Lindell, that Lion-Dell, and that's connected to the pillow for the pill grabber and the pilgrims and all those other things for the pilgrims and Indians and whatever else is coming. And the Indians is tied to the J.D. Vance and the Indian bread, and also V for victory for Vivek and those types of things. But we'll see how the old matrix plays out. Also, the Last Supper played on the that opening ceremony was on the 42nd week of the Israel war also. So the 114 countries that it affected, okay? If you take the 100-day count on the election plus 14 days, that takes you to including or not including the not for those Taylor Swift themes or of time. That's the T for the Trump and the AI, and the lures for the debate, and that hook, line, and sinker came today with the Olympics and the trannies and all those stuff coming into the boxing ring for that boxing up that Pandora's box. And the pan is the flute player. But either way, that takes us 114 days, 14 days after the election. That would be the 11/18, so the 1/118, that would make the 1/28 for that peace deal, and also the 1/119 for the 11/19 for the not including, and that would be the twin 9/11, and then the twin is where they share that the one or whatever, so it's actually the 3 because they share that chromosome or whatever that connects them or whatever, and that's where we get like the Jesus and Satan, the positive and negative, the neutral, and all those things coming together, where we have the son and the sister and those things come into battle in the household, or the man and woman, the feminine, masculine, those are things. But as the feminine comes in, it going to clean up shop and clean up the earth and all those things. So that's where the earth does a cleansing, and it does a cleansing through the lights, and the lights work in different ways and all those other things. But that's when the people either take the mark 75-80%, or they've taken the name or number, which is the 45-47, the 9-11, and that connects us to, well, the 114 countries. That connects us to the 14 days after the election date and those types of things. And then 11-15 is the time Trump gets his sentencing, the sentencing, the begotten, for that light going out, and the sin for the sin is the moon worship, or doing against what the child says, and those things, that sun. So that is when the moon's not reflecting that light, and then the sun already begin to turn to red, and those things in the moon. So either way. And then also sin being moon worship ties you back to that Lord's, the Greek feast, or the Lord's feast, the feast of the gods for the Zeus stuff. And Zeus, he's Jesus, and Jesus, and all those things. It's all the same story, just flip-flopped or whatever. One age he's called this, one age he's called that. Okay? So, this is where it's building a nation. It's giving birth to a nation where they're giving honor to that name. It's just like what we see with Hindu and Buddha and all these other things in the past. Okay? So, I'm going to do another video on that stuff, connecting the so-called God and Satan rising and all those other things. So, just looking out for that one, because it's very important information, because these people are about to go, a lot of people, dead men walking everywhere. Okay, 50 to 80% of the people, okay, go do a Google research, 50 to 80% of the people okay, world stage extras, pawns on the chessboard. Who knows what's going to happen? All right, so might as well be dead men walking. The rest, let's say 50%, right? And then the 30, all right, the 5-3 equals 8 to the 80-20 rule. Either way, mark, number, name, it all equals out. And the E quills, the EQ, ills, the 3 for the 1, 2, 3. And then the EQ is that amp, for that custom amp that's made with the mics. And the mics is the Mike Lindell and the Mike Johnson. And the Johnson's the sign of the coming. And all that's part of the pill grabber, or the hill grabber, and those things. And the pillow. Either way. So, the deaths is 4291 on that date, supposedly on Google. So that 9-1 equals to your September 1 for the sepulcher, and that 9-1 on subtraction equals for that 8-1 on that 24 for this year. And then the 11-18 cases, and that 11-18 cases matches to that 114 days, the 14 days after the election, which is the 11-18. All right, so from 81, the 8-1 August 2024 to the 8-7, the 7-8 on the British side reading, that is Trump 78. So Biden is 81 now, and Trump is 78. Okay, So this is a time frame, and then you got the 88 right after, and this is tying into that film, edit, and release. All right, and the release is later on in the fall, but this is where America is burned and all those other things. So this is where August gets hot and that destroying wind, the August. Either way. So if you track back the days, all right, from the 10-2 when Trump's trial, the 10-4 when that nationwide alarm went off. Okay, then 10-4 day, the alarm on the nation. 10 months and 4 days after the alarm, including or not including, is 8-10 or 8-11. And the 8-11 ties us back to the 118 cases. Okay, and that's the K aces. The K is the 11, the over for the Y2K shit. Okay, so the 8-10, the King Spirit was born on 1-8-35. On the British, it's 8-1-35. And you have the Biden at 81. You have the 8-1 that just passed today on August 2024. And then you also have 8-10 coming up. That's with the crown. The circle is the crown. So that's the King Spirit getting the crown and building up on the 35, because the 35 just hit on the trillion. And the trillion on the debt clock, the T bed clock on the back side, and we're on the back side as a thief in the night. Okay, because he's putting you back to sleep, and this is that woke virus and shit where it's no, don't wake up, go back to sleep, You've had the apple. I don't want you to wake up. Don't be kissed by the prince. Don't be alarmed by that one eye that's coming up. Don't be freaked out by that prince that's coming. So I want you to be the beast, be cast down, and be that Nimrod. It gives up that window into heaven that allows you to do all things, that it connects you to the new heaven and earth that's coming. It's a connection point that takes us from one to another as everything is collected. The man of this earth is of everything. It's brought into one, and we're going to become one with it. And we're going to go into a new time. And as Pluto's coming in, Pluto, these energies are ruling, and it's going to rule for Earth for 20 years and bring major transformation. This is that time when the millennial reign comes, Jesus, and then we break off again. And this is when probably we'll be able to take the light out of this and maybe transfer it here or there, be able to walk on the other side to where this is the dream, and that the sleep is where we awake. And this is where we actually live to be longer and older, whatever, because we're resting the machine and becoming into a new state. And as we come into a new state, all the pains and the elements and all these things, we're taken to new heaven and earth, and everything's replaced, and we come out of our cells into a whole new being. We're going to end here just because of time, and continue on.